Hello, my spooky besties, and welcome to another video. Today's video is super exciting because I will be going over my 25 of 2025. Alright, so like I mentioned, today's video is my 25 of 25, and for those who may not know what that means, is the 25 books off of my Physical TBR that I would like to read in the year of 2025. This list was harder to put together than I anticipated because I didn't want to put series on the list. Now granted, I have like the first book in series, but I didn't want to do like say I was to read ACOTAR for one of the books. I didn't want to, put A Court of Mist and Fury and then, so on and so forth as, numbered books in the video. So if there are any series on this list, it is the first book in the series, and I will not be continuing the series for this video. With that being said, the first book that I would like to read in the year of 2025 is the first book in the Dark Carpathian series by Christine Feehan, and that is Dark Prince. I have been collecting this series for years now, and I'm pretty well caught up to the newest releases. I think at the most I'm 2 behind, but that is pretty good in my opinion, seeing as it took so long to get as far as I have with these. So I would say that I have a good amount of them now to be able to go ahead and just start reading this series. The next book, I have been wanting to read and watch the TV series for quite some time now. Now I know I don't think I have all of the books in the series, but I do know that Coda and Nicole are doing a buddy read, like group read type thing for Seriously Serious, and I want to participate in that because I think that would be fun. With that being said, I would like to get to Outlander by Diana Gabaldon this year. I know that it's a little intimidating because it is kind of, in a way, like a historical fiction, historical romance type book, but I am really intrigued by it because I see like season teasers or episode teasers on TikTok or, all the other social medias that are out there. And I'm just thinking, okay, it's finally time. I just need to buckle down and get to it. So I look forward to that. The next book is also the first book in a series, and that is After by Anna Todd. I have been putting this series off for quite some time because I kind of wanted to wait to make sure that all the movies were out before I do my binge read of it and binge watch. So I would like to do a series video where I read the books and watch the movies and kind of give you guys like my reactions. I think that would be fun, and I've been meaning to read this. I've watched the first movie and actually really liked it, so I don't know why I have put it off for so long. This next book is also the first book in a series. There's a lot of those, so just bear with me there. But this book has been on my TBR for years now. I want to say like I was a junior or a sophomore in high school when I got it, but it's intimidating because it's a older series and the movie was kind of weird, so that just means that the book is going to be even more weird. But honestly, I think I'm all for that, to be honest. So I'm looking forward to getting into Flowers in the Attic by V.C. Andrews. This one is a bind up of Flowers in the Attic and Petals on the Wind. I don't know if I will make it a priority to get to Petals on the Wind this year, but I would like to at least read Flowers in the Attic and go back and rewatch the movie and see if I have a different take on it now that I have actually consumed the written story. Another first book in a series that I have, my father-in-law has been bothering me to read this series for a couple of years now, and my goal was to at least have the first book read last year before he came up to visit, and I did. So I'm hoping that with this video and possibly doing a series to go along with it, that I will finally get to it, and when he comes up again, I'll be able to talk to him about it. But that is Theft of Swords by Michael J. Sullivan, which is volume 1 of the Raya Revelations. I want to say that there are 3 smaller condensed books in this book, and they did it like a anthology type bind up, and did like the first 3 books in this volume, and then the next however many books in the second volume, and the third one, which I do have all 3. But since these are chunky and these are pretty fantasy, like epic fantasy based, so it's a little, you know, stronger on the world building, more in tune to the magical system and stuff like that. So not something normally that I gravitate towards. I last year had came to the thought, because I kept putting A Court of Thorns and Roses and Throne of Glass down because I felt like I was too stupid to read them because they were fantasy. And the fact that I thought that, and they're so easy and so fast to read and so enjoyable, that I'm hoping once I actually finally get into this that I will be able to read it and have a better understanding and not feel so mentally challenged, I guess is what I'm going to use to describe how I feel with, you know, adult fantasy. So I have put this book on every Halloween, spooky season, TBR, readathon, TBR, all kinds of stuff like that for years now. And I think that I am intimidated. That's the word I was looking for. I feel so intimidated by this one is because of how big it is. But that is It by Stephen King. And this book is a monster. And the last time I read it, I got to chapter 5, which is 221 pages into it. And I was enjoying it. You know, I was reading it alongside with my husband, and he more so has been a reason why I've been putting it off, because we start it and then he gets bored. So, honey, I'm sorry to tell you this, but if this isn't the year for you to read it, I'm reading it without you, because it is about time to finally put this one in the books. The next book that I have heard so many fantastic things about this author, and I've had this book on my TBR for some time now, and I felt like I was just dipping my toe into the thriller genre, and I've read quite a few since then, so I feel like I'm finally ready to be able to commit to this. But honestly, I think I was just being over dramatic, because I'm sure this is going to be a super simple, super quick read, and it's going to hold my attention very well. But that is The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware. I just need to finally put my foot down and read this book, because I have a feeling that I'm going to love this author. I do have quite a few of her books now, so we'll see how this goes. The next book I started reading on Kindle Unlimited, and then I'm like, you know what? No, I kind of want to pick this up physically, and so many people have recommended it to me, and I don't know why I've put it off for so long, but I love the genre. And I don't really have very many triggers when it comes to dark romance. I think it's just the size of the book and just putting the energy into it, I guess is what you can say. But that is Haunting Adeline by H.D. Carlton, which is the first installment in the Cat and Mouse duet. I have all of the books in the series, so there's no point in why I'm putting it off anymore. But I have a feeling that I'm going to devour this once I get into it. So I just need to stop being a little crybaby of the size of the book and just read it. So this is kind of like the same intimidation level. The size of the book for one, and then two, I have heard so many mixed thoughts and feelings on this book, and I just need to read it, but that is Den of Vipers by K.A. Knight. This one is awfully chunky too, but I have heard so many good things about Diesel in this book, and I just want to see if I feel the same way or if I end up liking one of the other guys more. So this is super exciting, and I am ready to bite the bullet and finally read it. I've been putting off reading because I was going to just collect all of the books in the series and just do a quick, binge read of them, but Hannah picked them up and has been loving them, and she's like, girl, you need to just stop waiting and read them. So I am looking to start. The first book I have is Neon Gods by Katie Robert. So I'm just gonna, bite the bullet and just read it for Hannah's sake, so I can talk to her about it and finally see why she loves it so much. And it's a Hades book. I want to say it's Hades and Persephone, isn't it? Yeah, Hades and Persephone. So why haven't I read it yet? Because I love anything that's Hades and Persephone. I mean, I am loving Lore Olympus. I'm loving Hades and Persephone series by Scarlett St. Clair. So why not just throw another one in the mix? I'm sure I'm going to love it. The next book is a recently added to my TBR. So I just recently acquired this book, probably November-ish of last year, but I have heard really good things, and this book is just super, super pretty with the sprayed edges. But that is God of Malice by Raina Kent, and the red sprayed edges is just super pretty. It ties the cover together. I heard so many good things about this one. Hannah has also read, and this has been on my TBR for some time now because it was gifted to me, but that is Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas. I don't know why I've been putting this one off. It's just kind of one of those ones that just sat there and hasn't been picked up. This one is a series that I just started collecting in December. I've had the first one on my TBR for a little while. Everyone is just saying to binge read them because as soon as you start it, you're just not gonna want to stop. And I now have the first 4, which puts me at like 2 more left to get, but that is Hooked, which is the first book in the Never After series by Emily McIntyre. I have a feeling I'm going to love this because I love Disney and Disney fairy tales, etc. And this is a Hook and Wendy retelling. I'm super excited. I'm sure it's going to be super spicy, and I just cannot wait. I will probably binge this series even though I don't have the last 2. But I'm looking forward to it nonetheless. Okay, so this one is also a recent acquired book, and it is a dark romance, and I feel like I will love it. I haven't been putting it off. It's just a newly acquired book. Just haven't really put it into a TBR just yet, but this is me doing that now. But that is Butcher and Blackbird by Bren Weaver. I want to say there's like 3 or 4 books in the series out now, so I'm just going to read this one and then go forward if I like it. But I was gifted this, so can't wait to get into it. So another book that is the first book in a series. The reason why I have put this book off for so long is that the series itself is so long, and it has these spin-off series that you should read before it and after it, and talks about so many different reading orders of it. And I'm just going to start off with this one and just read the series as I go, and then read the spin-off series. But that is The Awakening, which is the first book in the Zodiac Academy series. I was gifted this, but I put it on my wish list because I was told that it's basically like spicy Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter, so say no more. I'm hoping that this holds up and it doesn't disappoint, because I feel like I would be really, really heartbroken if I didn't like it. So I did order the second book knowing that I put this one on my 25 for 2025. So fingers crossed that I enjoy it. If not,
Hannah, be prepared.
The next book I have been putting off because I was told that it's going to just break my heart, and I absolutely love this author and all of the books of hers that I've read so far. So I'm ready to sub my eyes out, I guess. That leaves me to say that I have In Pieces by Noelle Ron Johnson, and this is the first book in the Pieces trilogy. I have had this book for a while now, and it is signed, but I guess the main reason is I didn't want to bawl my eyes out. But it is now time, because a book this pretty should not be collecting dust. The only short book that I have on this entire TBR is a series that I have been putting off because I needed to get the newest installment, which I did, which you'll see in my January book haul, which you'll see before this even goes up. That is Yule, A Solstice Tale, which is the first book in the Gift Keeper series by Nicole Streichars, and this one is also signed, and it was a birthday gift. My husband Scott bought me 6 of these now. I'm not sure, but he bought them for me for my birthday, went through Nicole's site to be able to get them so I could get them signed. So I'm looking to either send my physical copy that I have to her to sign, or see if I can get a signed book plate from her, just so that my whole series is signed and put well together. But I am so excited to finally be able to pick this up and binge read it, because it is a series that every time I look at my shelves, I'm like, it's time to pick it up. But oh wait, you don't have the last book yet. And I am so ready to finally binge read this, because she swears up and down that I'm going to devour it and love it so much. My cousin actually picked up this book and was enjoying it. It was gifted to me, I want to say for my birthday or like a Fairy Friday, but I've seen this book everywhere and I just want to pick it up and see what it's all about. I don't know anything, but I'm going to dive into it completely blind. But that is Twisted Love by Anna Huang. This book is so pretty. Don't know why I've been putting it off. Maybe it's the fact that I don't have all of them. This is the year of getting stuff done, is how I'm seeing it. So I look forward to finally picking this one up. The next one, I've been putting it off because I've been wanting to collect all of the books in this series for the specific illustrated edition of the covers, because I didn't really care for the live people on it. I like the cartoon illustrated covers more, but this series is just so long at this point, and it has other spin-off series. And watching Kitty from Spicy Cats Read just go through this series and all of her vlogs, I'm just like, okay, it's finally time to pick it up. She enjoys it. It's a monster alien romance. I love alien romance. I've read it in the past, so there's no reason to keep putting off Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon. I do only have the first 2, but they are, I believe, on Kindle Unlimited still. So I will be looking forward to, just reading through the series and just gradually collecting them as I read them, instead of just putting it off and letting my physical copies collect dust. Okay, so the next book is Recently Acquired, and I was not going to pick up this series because of how much hype there is behind it, but Hannah read it and she absolutely loved it. So I'm like, if she loved it, then obviously I'm going to, because we have very, 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 very similar taste in books. I will be reading Light Lark by Alex Astor. So wish me luck, because I don't know anything about it. I bought it blind and I plan to go into it blind as well. So this book I've been putting off for a while now, because I watched the movie before I read the book, which is always a mistake because I always end up not reading the book at all. I just recently rewatched the movie with Scott, and I'm like, it is time to read this book and read the second one and figure out what the hell happened to these characters after the movie ended. I need to figure out what happens after the movie ends, because the movie ends on a cliffhanger. So I'm sure the first book will end in a cliffhanger, but I do have the second book, so it is just time to see what happened to these and probably get my heart stomped on. The next book is also a recently acquired, but I've had my eye on this series for quite some time now, and my friend Rebecca got me the first and the third book in the series for Christmas, and I went and used an Amazon gift card that I received as a gift to go ahead and pick up the second book so I can start this series and read the 3 that I have. I am super fascinated by this series and the idea behind it, but it's like a fairy tale, true crime mystery type book, so I'm completely intrigued. And this one is called Autopsy of a Fairy Tale, and it's the first book by Nicole Scarano. I still don't know if I'm saying the author's name right. I am super freaking excited to have this in my collection and to be able to read it physically. I was going to pick it up by using Kindle Unlimited, but since I now own them physically, it is just the perfect sign and opportunity to finally pick these up and buddy read them with my friend Rebecca. I just need to catch up to where she's at because she has started it. The next book I have had on my TBR for a while now, and I waited to have all 3 books in this series, but the reason why I am intimidated by it is this author has so many goddamn books. She is just as bad as Stephen King, and I have quite a few of her books. I do have this entire series now, and it's finally time to just bite the bullet and read it, because I've been fighting myself over which book or which series by her I wanted to start first. So I finally made the decision that I'm going to be starting Year One by Nora Roberts, which is the first book in the Chronicles of the One series. This is a 3-book series, I believe. I don't think there's been any recent installments into the series, but this I have been like putting on like my spooky season type book, because it just kind of gives a witchy, gothic, dark academia vibe to it. So I'm just excited to finally pick this up and give this author a go. My dad started my collection of hers, and it has spiraled out of control, and the fact that I have so many books by her and have not read a single one is a problem. Okay, so this next book I have put on this TBR because I want to read her backlist after reading What Lies in the Woods. I am completely hooked by this author's writing style. I just recently got the January Book of the Month box, which I believe had a Killing Cold, which is a Kate Alice Marshall book, I believe. But I want to do a video series on my channel where I binge read her backlist and her newest releases. So I am very, very, very excited to get into this. This was a Book of the Month pick from 2023. And the fact that I have put it off that long, it just needs to be read.
Does she not see us sitting here?
The final book of this video is one that is written by a past booktuber. I don't think she's doing any YouTube anymore. I have put this off because there was so many bad things said about it. But my thought process now is that just because somebody else didn't like it doesn't mean I'm not going to. But it is finally time to pick up Zenith by Sasha Ellsberg and Lindsay Cummings. I have had this on my TBR since this book released, and it is just finally time to read it and see what it's all about and see if I can understand why people disliked it so much. But that is the end of this crazy TBR video challenge type video for 2025. But this is a step in rating down my physical TBR, and I am super excited about it. But until then, I will see you guys in my next video. Stay spooky, my friends.